Welcome everyone. Today in our class we are going to discuss about the topic weathering. In our last class we have discussed about mechanical weathering and the chemical weathering. Today in our class we are going to discuss about the biological weathering and the effect of weathering, the formations of the soil, the conservations of the soil, soil erosions. We all discuss about this today. Okay, so let's start. First we will discuss about the biological weathering. Okay, biological weathering means that the living agent, they are mainly responsible for the biological weathering. Living agents also responsible for the decompositions and the disintegrations of the rocks. Okay, and also human also the responsible for the disintegrations and decompositions of the rock. Okay. How they are responsible for the decomposition and disintegrations of the rock, like you know that human day by day they constructed building, they constructed road, channel, okay, these all dams also, they build their dams. So these are the things they do after the blastings of the rock. For the mineral explorations they also do. So these all are the responsible for the disintegrations and decompositions of the rock. Okay, they also have to break down the rock. Okay, when they break down that rock, that already the disintegrations and decompositions happen in there. Okay, all these activities is the mainly result in increasing the surface areas of the rock, and also few are by the chemical agents. They also dissolve few minerals in them by the chemical reactions. Okay, and also few animals like those that live in the burrow, they are also responsible for the disintegration and decompositions of the rock, like the fox, rabbit, and rats. Okay, earthworm. Okay, they make the hollow by making the long holes. When they making their burrow, they making the long holes. With that, the animals also expose the earth by removing the vegetations. Okay, they bring the subsoil, under soil, they bring into the surface and make the field fertile. With the help of these animals, the soil is also fertile. And you know, the root of the plant is also responsible for the disintegrations of the rock. Like how? Like that root of the rock, when they crack any rock, as you see the picture, any rocks joined, they crack them, and day by day the root is bigger and bigger, and then there is a huge force giving there on this hard rock, then that hard rock breaking down. Okay, and the grass roots from a sponge like moss, they also can prevent the erosions, because they can capture the soil with their roots. Okay, but at the same time you can see there, they can when they make the hole and the crack in the soil, they actually make that is easier for the moistures and air enter into that crack. Okay, and root of the trees, basically the big trees, they in the limestone, in the marble regions, they do their work. They produce acid, and these acids mainly act on the carbonates and the disintegrated on the rocks. Okay, as you know, the carbon mainly chemical reactions happen there, and that limestone totally soluted in water. Okay, and after that the remains of the plants and animal produce humus. Okay, and it is the organic matter which also add the fertility of the soil. Sometimes a type of organic also formed, that is known as humus. Okay, and decomposed basalt, feldspar, magnesium, that contain the rocks and the into the These minerals also contained in the rock, and that's also mixed with the crust. Okay, the upper layer of the crust is known as regolith. Okay, regolith is also the thin layer of the regolith, the uppermost layer, that is known as soil. Okay, so what are the effect of the weathering? You know, the mass wasting happened because of the weathering. Mass wasting, what is that? This term mass wasting is associated with the process of by the materials which is transferred naturally from the surface of the earth down to the slope by the force of gravity. A huge amount of eroded material, when they come down from the high slope to the lower portions with the force of the gravity, this is known as the mass wasting. As an example, you can say landslide is a one type of mass wastings. Okay, this mass wasting basically happened with the help of mechanical and both the chemical weathering. Okay, they sometimes they work together, and that time the huge amount of the materials, they come down from the mountain to the foothills regions of the mountain, that is known as the mass wasting. This is also the effect of the weathering. Another one, the outcropping of the rocks. As you know, the weathering, where there is a top cover of the earth, basically because of the weathering, the top layer of the earth exposed. Okay, exposed, and talus or scree is also happened due to this weathering. Talus or scree is a one type of feature which include in the you say like the boulders, the broken rock of all sides, they accumulated in the foot of the mountain. Okay, they are the weather rock and roll down under the actions of the gravity. So these are the known as talus or key. Formations of the ores, where you know that one rock is composed with the so many types of minerals. Okay, so these minerals, mainly the raw minerals, that means they are the ores, like the aluminium, magnesium, uranium, all are the we can getting all the minerals by the help of the chemical weathering. And tropical region, temperate regions, these are the main source of this all of these minerals, ores. Okay, regolith, already I told you that due to the weathering, weathering means disintegrations and decompositions of the rock, the layer of upper layers of the earth, that is known as the regolith. Okay, and increasing the soil fertility. So the weathering also make the soil fragile and porous and become the airy, and that is also favorable for the plant grow. Okay, because that time this soil is very fertile to grow any type of crops, is also can grow there. Okay, so these are the mainly the weathering, result of the weathering, or you can say the effect of the weathering. Now we will discuss about the formations of the soil. Formations of the soil, you know, due to the weathering, the overlying forms and the solid rock of the crust, they are loose. Okay, that time and unsolidified materials are created, insoluble residual product of the weathering made of. So these decompositions and fragmented materials of the earth's surface, that is known as regolith, and the upper portions of the regolith, under the suitable conditions, they transform into the soil. Okay, that means I already told you the top layer of the regolith is known as soil. And you know that when it is composed of the organic material like decayed plant bodies, and that is also known as humus. Okay, and bacteria, fungi, that all the humus, they produce the humus. This process is also known as humifications. Okay, and inorganic materials like the minerals, they produce by the weathering, that type of this process is known as mineralization. Okay, and water gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and some minerals like the aluminiums, they are leaches downward. Okay, from the one layer to the next layer. Okay, down. Okay, so this is known as Eluviations. Okay, eluviations, this process is known as eluviation. And when all this material deposited in that layer, that layer is that time known as eluviation. Eluviation and eluviation. Okay, the transformations of the minerals from one layer to another layer, this is known as the eluviations. And when they deposited in another layer, that is known as the eluviations. Okay, and weathering make the soil fertile as well as the porous, so that soil can absorb the air, the water. Okay, and it is easy to grow the plant. Soil erosions, soil erosions means the wearing away of the upper part of the earth's surface, or the upper part of the soil. Okay, when it happened, there is a bare soil is left and expose the ground. Okay, and by the running water, wind, and also the rainwater, they are mainly causes for the soil erosions. Okay, by the actions of the soil by become improvised. Okay, and it is also the very big problem right now. What are the causes of the soil erosions? First of all, the character of the soil and the character of the land slope. If there is a steep slope, that the soil can easily washed away. Okay, so that time that is called that is also responsible. Steep slope is mainly soil eroded is maximum there rather than the gentle slope. Okay, also bare land. If there is a bare land, no plants is there, so easily the wind, running water or rainwater can wash away all that upper layer of the earth. That means the soil, they can easily erode. Okay, uncontrolled use of the soil by man, day by day human being are doing so many things on the soil. They are doing the agriculture, then throughout the one season they left that land bare, so that time the soil erosions happened. Okay, so and soil erosions is also caused by other few things like the seat erosions, bank erosions, gully erosion. What are the seat erosions? Seat erosions mean which implies the remove the top layers of the soil due to the faulty cultivations, rainwash, and allowing action. Allowing actions means wind actions. Okay, bank erosions means that is takes place in the bank of the river, and deforestation is the main cause of such erosions. Okay, and gully erosions means running water is also cut gullies and the small stream. Okay, and they wash away the soil. So these are the mainly the reasons of the soil erosions, and by this type of seat erosions, gully erosions, bank erosion, by this process the soil is eroded. Okay, now the conservations of soil. How can we conserve the soil? And what is soil conservation? Soil is the natural resource, so we have to conserve it for the future generations. Okay, so soil conservations means to protect the soil from erosions and preservations its fertility. The measures of the soil conservations we can do by the two process. Number one, by the checking of erosions. Number two, by increasing the fertility of the soil. By checking of the soil erosions, how can we do that? Number one, afforestation, when you have to grow more and more plant. Number two, restrictions of the overgrazing. Okay, contour cultivations and terrace farming have to do. Prohibitions of the zoom cultivations, strictly prohibited the zoom cultivations and septic cultivations, and we have to increase the awareness about the conservations of the soil in our society. Okay, and what are the how can we do this increase the soil fertility? By the supplying the adequate water manure to the soil, prohibiting the cultivations of the soil, zoom cultivations, strip cropping can be practiced, and introductions of the crop rotations, and the fertility and infertility field, they convert to the infertile field to the fertile field by the applying the chemical fertilizer, and also the excessive research work that can bring about the new thought of the soil character, and they can also preserve the new preservations. They can also describe the develop the new idea about the increasing of the productivity. So this is how we can conserve the soil. Okay, so this is all about the weathering chapter. I hope all of you understood. If you have any queries, please let me know. Thank you.